Shivoham, Shivoham. Shivoham, Shivoham. Shivoham, Shivoham. Shivoham, Shivoham. Shivoham, Shivoham.
Shuklambaradaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Manojavam Marutatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtham Vatatmajam Vanarayudha Mukhyam Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadhye. Namaste. Welcome to Kaivalya Yoga Gurukulam on this blessed Thursday evening or Friday morning, depending on where you are, for another round of this yagna, where we dedicate this time and our minds and our spirits to this divine energy of Hanuman in the form of prana. For the next 25 minutes or so, let us completely be immersed in another dimension, the dimension of the breath that is called the Bhuvar Loka, the celestial sphere. Let us enter that sphere, listen to the breath, feel the breath. We shall begin with the Omkar Kriya. I'll keep it as meditative as possible with very less instructions. Let's begin with the Om. Inhale. Inhale, come up. Apply the Uddiyana Bandha and keep that in place throughout the practice. Inhale. Inhale, come up. The Ujjayi Breath. Invoke the Ujjayi Breath and continue that throughout the Kriyas. Inhale. Roll your tongue back upwards so the tip of the tongue touches the roof of the mouth. Kechari Mudra. And let us do Kamala Kriya. All right. Kaka Shuddhi Kriya. 5 rounds consecutively. Or take a break and do 3. Begin. Once you're done, again, go into Kamala Kriya with Kechari Mudra. All right. Let's transition into Agnisara. Breathe out, hold the breath out, pull your stomach in, flap the stomach in and out. And then again breathe in. Breathe out, continue. We'll do this 5 times. Sit up tall and straight and begin at your own pace. Kamala Kriya with Kechari Mudra. All right. We'll do Markata Kriyas, 3 rounds. Each round has 10 Kriyas. Let's begin. Inhale. Exhale. 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 One more round. Inhale. Exhale. Keep the Kechari Mudra. Inhale. Exhale. And the bandha in place. Inhale. Exhale. 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 Kamala Kriya with the Kechari. All right, take a deep breath. As you breathe out, get ready for the Pranayama Kriya. I'll be using the bolster. For those of you who need the bolster. Halfway, I will do the other one as well, where we can go without the bolster. So for those of you sitting in the chair, you have these two options. Sit tall and straight. Perform the hands into the Brahma Mudra. If you have a bolster, just keep it like so. Inhale. As you exhale, go down. Breathe through the back of your lungs. Deep inhalations, exhalations. Keep your stomach tightly in. At least 5 rounds of deep breathing. Once you're done, inhale. Come up. Exhale, release the mudra. Maintain this bandha though. Let's go into Kamala Kriya. With the Kechari in place. Enter the world of breath. Let the breath be all around you. There is radiance and vitality, light and energy in this sphere, in this dimension. All right. Bhastrika Kriya. In this celestial sphere with breath all around and prana all around. Let us do this powerful Kriya. 3 rounds, each round 30 Kriyas on an average. You can do more or less slightly. First round, do it at a slow pace. Maintain the Uddiyana Bandha. Keep the tongue rolled back. When you're ready, let's begin. Once you're done Kechari, go into Kamala Kriya. All right. The next round of Bhastrika, slightly faster pace. Let's go. Kamala Kriya with Kechari. Observe. In between, observe, be very mindful. All right. Third round, Bhastrika. Faster pace than the other two if you wish to and if you can. Again, 30 rounds. Let's go. Kamala Kriya. Wonderful. Gently continue the Kriya with your left hand. With the right hand, we'll form Chandra Bheda Kriya. Left in, right out. Left in, right out. Left in, right out. You inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 8 counts. This strengthens and opens the left side, bringing about balance. Because the following phase we will do the right side, the waxing phase. Close your right nostril, keep the left open, bend your head slightly down. You're inside this world of breath in the celestial sphere. Tune into the breath. engage with the universal energies as with every inhalations and exhalations. And let your spirit open up to the divine mantra of Ram, where we all meet in this dimension of Ayodhya. Let us begin.
Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale. Exhale. 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 Inhale. Exhale.
Ram Ram Ram, Ram Ram Ram.
Inhale.
Ram Ram Ram.
Exhale.
Ram Ram Ram, Ram Ram Ram.
Inhale. Exhale.
साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने। श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने। श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने।
Namaste. For those of you just joining, and welcome to Kaivalya Yoga Gurukula for another divine satsang, singing the glory, contemplating on the glorious deeds of our beloved Hanuman, who has now become our friend, a member of our family, if you will, daily bathing our consciousness with lessons in courage, wisdom, equanimity, selflessness, humility, and complete devotion to the Atmaram, obeying the words, following the dictum. So to this divine energy we bow and continue this learning with humility and reverence, knowing that what we are studying is only a fraction of what is there to be discovered in just this one chapter alone. And then you can understand how much more there is to learn, how much more there is to discover in these Vedantic truths in the Upanishads. So many perspectives. Of course, it is the same truth. And what is that truth? That you are the Atmaram, not different from Atmaram. The truth is one, but the paths are so many, perspectives are so many. There are so many wonderful ways that we can learn, understand, comprehend, and slowly bring this into reality. And what we now consider reality slowly fades and becomes and gets its place of being mithya. Mithya is unreal. It's not an illusion, it's unreal, like a mirage. The concept of mirage is real, but the water that you see reflected in the sands of the desert or in the highway when you drive on a hot afternoon, that water is not real, but the concept of mirage is real, right? And therefore, there is an element of unrealness in what we're experiencing. So the word that is used is mithya. Anyway, I don't want to get distracted. Let us go into Sundarakand, where we are contemplating on this
wonderful concept of intoxication, Dhadimukha and Sugriva. So Dadhimukha, Dadhi it is, not Dadi, but Dadhi. Dadhimukha, Dadhi means curdled milk, sour milk. Mukha is face. So that's why I called him sour face. So Mr. Sour Face, he's following his job correctly. He's not a bad guy at all. He's doing his job correctly, taking care of the garden, protecting the sanctity, the holiness of the place. That's his job. That's what he's meant to do. Right? So he is doing it, and suddenly the Vanaras come and destroy the place. Well, they are Vanaras. They decide to celebrate. What do you expect? So they are plucking trees and throwing things around, and all of them are intoxicated. And therefore, Dhadimukha in this chapter of 29 verses, it's a fairly small chapter. And so he goes to Sugriva and falls at Sugriva's feet because he feels guilty. I tried to protect them, protect the garden. I even tried to punish these Vanaras, but I'm not able to do anything to them because somehow Angada is siding them and is on their side. Hanuman seems to be on their side. Jambavan seems to be blessing this whole thing. And so there is nothing I can do. So he's rushing to Sugriva and falls at Sugriva's feet, almost asking for pardon. And Sugriva says, what happened? Why are you falling at my feet? I'm always here to protect you. Come tell me what happened. And then Dadhimukha explains to Sugriva what happens. That the Vanaras came and ransacked the whole place, and the place is a mess. The sacred grove of Sugriva and his forefathers are being destroyed by the Vanaras. Now, normally when a king would hear that, he would be upset. This is not ordinary garden. This is a garden which even was given as a boon from Brahma. That's what Sugriva says. This is the garden that is given as a boon from Brahma himself. And in other words, that intoxication we were talking about, and we'll come to that. So, and this garden is being destroyed. So upon hearing this news, he should be upset. But remember who Sugriva is. Rama is no ordinary prince to have befriended Sugriva, right? Sugriva is discernment, a quality of seeing things very clearly. Buddhi. There is the word discrimination also that we are so commonly used to. But these days, because of social implications, the word discrimination means you are somehow discriminating between individuals and so on. So that word has kind of got a negative connotations. So we'll stick to discernment. I like that. One of our participants suggested that. Discernment is clarity. So Rama has chosen Sugriva because of that. And because of Rama uses that energy to clear the path to Sita, right? So Sugriva is no ordinary person. He is no ordinary king. And so how does he react to Dadhimukha? He says, really? The Vanaras are doing this? Are they celebrating? If so, they have brought the good news. That is how he sees it. If so, they have brought the good news. The good news is that they must have found Sita. Otherwise, there is no way that they would be doing this. Leave alone doing this, they wouldn't even have come back. But I know that they have discovered Sita. My heart tells me that they have discovered Sita. And that is why they are celebrating. And what the news that you bring to me actually gives me joy. Look at the beauty of that. That is what this is about. So Dadhimukha and Sugriva, I find, is something we need to contemplate upon. These two energies, if you will, that is within us, around us, and so on. So Dadhimukha is about sticking to rules no matter what. And sometimes in sticking to rules, sometimes, and we have to understand this carefully, sometimes we compromise or forget the spirit behind it. It is there in every art form, if you will. In every, if it's painting or if it is music or if it is singing or any of this, playing instruments, there are rules. You have to follow the rules and learn the right way. The raga has certain notes, right? So you take those notes and that's it. You keep practicing them. There are rules to practice, but then you can't stick to only rules. Practicing them, and in that disciplined methodology, slowly you begin to get the flavor of the raga that you're practicing, you're singing. I'm saying this because I practice that on my own. I'm not learning anything formally, but I take a bhajan, I discover what the raga is, then I bring in all the other bhajans of the same raga, and then I get into the flavor. I see what notes are and what are the rules that are surrounding this raga and so on. And so I go on practicing. And after that, what happens is you get the flavor, right? And when you get the flavor, you tend to make your own compositions. You tend to go in your own path. Within this, you tend to go in your own path. That time you can't say, no, I have to stick to my practice. I have to stick to these rules and forget the spirit behind it. So when the spirit begins to open, an intoxication happens. In other words, you begin to get so absorbed in the spirit of this whole thing that it is okay to let go of the rules. So in even great classical musicians I've heard, in a particular raga, they will be singing, they will touch upon a note here and there just to add flavor. There is no written rule that you should do that. Dhadimukha who's listening to it might say, no, you meant out of the raga. But then it adds beauty to it, and therefore it is allowed in fine arts. Let's look at it other way. Now, in many cases in our lives, if you see, I find this very interesting. I've been spending time thinking about it since yesterday. So this is initial thoughts again. For example, law, right? We could be legally right. Dhadimukha is very happy. Legally, we are right. In certain action, whatever it is. If I'm manufacturing a product, as a manufacturer, what is required of me? What are the things I should put on the label of my product, which is eatable? And so what should I put? I have to put certain things, I will put. There are certain things I'm using, which I don't want people to know. And so I will somehow do it in such a manner that legally I am correct. Dhadimukha is happy. I have followed the rules. But is Sugriva happy? In other words, is the ethics behind the whole concept of even bringing the law in place, has that been compromised because you stuck to it saying, I am correct. This was the law, I obeyed the law. I could sell poison in that matter, right? That is what we are doing with sugar. There is no law that says that sugar is actually injurious for health. Like cigarettes, they don't put that when they sell it. Every manufacturer brings sugar in some form, right? Artificial, not artificial sweeteners, this, that, whatever it is. But they will say, legally, I'm okay. I don't know. There is no law against it. Nobody says it is the cause for death. Nobody has proved it and so on. So legally, they are right. But morally, spiritually, ethically, are they? So we can't always just focus on Dhadimukha and say Dhadimukha has to be followed. We have to look at the spirit behind which this was observed. Going back in history, the story of Tulsidas comes to my mind because this Tulsida Jayanti is coming around the corner. That will be the last day of our Yagna, August 14th night or August 15th morning in India. Tulsidas Jayanti. So Tulsidas, what did he do? He was a strict Brahmin. He was raised in traditional, as a priest. They had very strict rules about their lives. They have very strict rules about their learnings. They have very strict rules about whom they can teach, whom they cannot teach. Especially, he was at the time, 500-600 years ago, when India was completely ruled by foreign powers. And so there were very strict rules to protect, preserve this sacred grove that was capable of intoxicating. Right? So divine knowledge was kept within the few. The intention was correct at one point because they didn't want the foreign invasions like the Mughals and the Mongols even before that. For thousands of years we have been completely done that, right? So they didn't want this to go out of that. They wanted to preserve the sanctity like Dhadimukha. So they began to preserve it. But then Tulsidas began to enjoy the flavor of Ram Naam in that, and then he realized, what am I doing? This should be shared with everybody, every common folk. Ruler or not, conqueror or not, everybody deserves to learn this. And he looked around him, he saw common folk, common citizens, not knowing what it was. They were entirely relying on a few handful of people who took them for a ride here and there. And therefore, Tulsidas, what did he do? He broke the rules. Why? Because he was intoxicated. Why? In what? In Ramna. In that intoxication, he said, I have to share this with everyone. And therefore, he shared it with everyone in a language that they can understand. And thus, one of that was Tulsi Ramayana, of course, and then from that comes the Hanuman Chalisa. Jai Hanuman, Gyan, Gunasagar, Jai Kapis, Tihun Lok Ujagar. So like this, he brought it in a language you and I can all tune into, easy to understand. So, did Tulsidas break rules? Yes. He took a sacred Sanskrit text and converted it into normal language. But then did he do something wrong? No, absolutely not. He enriched the life of millions of people. So that is the lesson we have to take from here. Because this is a very tricky chapter. We could go home with wrong impressions. Even Hanuman said it's okay to celebrate. Yeah, I am also going to celebrate. That is not how you can take this. But that will be misreading this whole concept. The concept is when your higher intuition awakens. William Wordsworth, in the poem Daffodils, writes, Oft when on my coach I lie in vacant or in pensive moods, they flash upon my inward eye in the bliss of solitude. Now, oft when on my couch I lie, oft, what is oft? Often it should be. Why are you breaking English rules? We ask him. But that's not how poetry is written, right? Poetry is written when you break rules in grammar. That's when poetry comes up. Right? And that is the beauty of this intoxication. Because in that state of intoxication, you go beyond, and if it is love for God, then only love remains. Everything else is forgotten. I, me, mine, my sadhana, your sadhana, this, that, right, wrong, everything is gone. At that moment, there is in that intoxication lies miracles. The miracle dimension is that dimension where the soul touches that place where it is in touch with God. Rules are broken and it's okay. Now you might have seen old videos of Bhagwan Baba. If not, many of you would have been in Prashantanilayam. And there would be about 200, 250, 300 boys would come in strict line all the way, 1 kilometer we walk. Okay? So everyone walks, 200 boys, and there'll be a long train, like all in white, clad in white, looking down. Lines of 3 or 4, I forget now. And so we walk all the way, strict discipline, into the ashram. And Baba sometimes opens the door and he's waiting for his boys. So he's waiting in the veranda. And he's come, and the last 50 meters, guess what happens? All this time you maintained the line. All the time there was decency, decorum, and there was discipline. But the last 50 meters, the boys see Baba. Baba sees the boys. And at that moment, everything breaks loose. The boys rush. You have seen this. And you should see the bliss in Baba's face. He'll be beaming. It's not that he's encouraging this, but all he sees is, oh my God, how much they love me. And so he would rush and sit all around him, and he would just say, hey, discipline, discipline, he will say. But we all know that Baba is just bathing in that divine love. And so are we, all of us. So at that moment, if some Dadi Mukas, the oldies in ashram, will say, these boys are all breaking discipline, to Baba, Baba will say, it's okay. Pillalu, inka emi chestaru, papam. Means young boys, what do they know? And so, like Sugriva, Baba will say, it's okay, that's fine. That's perfectly all right. So, there are times when intoxication takes over. This is the intoxication that Valmiki is referring to. And this is the intoxication that Hanuman says, it's okay. I will see Dhadi Mukha and his so-called people will not disturb you all. Enjoy. You all are so happy that Sita is found. Give freedom to that expression. When Nityananda and they danced in, I forget the name. I don't know, my mind is just blank. When they danced singing Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, they got lost hundreds of years ago. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, lost in the name of Krishna. They didn't plan to dance. No. In that intoxication of Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, their body began to sway, there was a rhythm being played, and they began to dance. That is the intoxication we're talking about. You ask them, which leg did you put first? Do you put a right leg first or the left leg first? Do you raise your hand, right hand first, left hand first? Why are you turning clockwise? Shouldn't you turn anti-clockwise? Or how do you go about it? So that kills the whole spirit. You can't watch. We don't have a video of Bhagavan Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the saints who danced in ecstasy, or Tukaram and Gora Kumbhar and all these wonderful saints. But they were in bliss. In that bliss, the body went into that rhythm. You can't ask them, give me the rules, I also want to do it. So what happens is when we copy them from the outside, we try to dance and get into ecstasy. They were in ecstasy and they were unaware that they were dancing. So there's a big difference. So this is the difference between Dhadi Mukha and Sukha. So let us not break rules to experience intoxication. It doesn't work like that. In the intoxicated state, in that joy, certain rules are automatically broken, certain bonds let go. So in other words, that ritual, if I'm sitting in the puja to chant Om Namah Shivaya 108 times, and I'm doing it, I've said I will do it for 108 days, 108 times every day, and I'm doing it. And what happens on the 50th day? What happens on the 60th day? I keep chanting and suddenly I drift into a deep meditation. I get lost into Om Namah Shivaya, into the Shiva concept. I forget to chant. Does it mean that I have stopped japa, I have stopped and it's something bad? No. The rule of that japa is broken. But then you have gone into that state where there are no rules. There is only experience. Only experience, whatever that experience is. We sit straight in meditation. There are rules to sit straight, breathe, apply the bandhas and all of that. But when the prana begins to move and the doors and channels begins to open, then no matter how you are, whether the body is straight or bent or lying down, when the prana is moving, there is a deep state of absorption. People who experience that can only speak for that. And at that point, you can't say, oh, I'm not sitting straight, I'm sitting like this, I'm lying down, what is happening? The body will move on its own, the body will experience intoxication on its own. At that point, it's not about asana, it's not about techniques, it's not about bandhas. They were all tools that led to this. Now it's time to drop them back and get into this divine state. So you and I need to ask ourselves, how much of Dhadi Mukha rules our lives? How much of Sugriva? And how I can balance? The answer is not simple. We have to be aware of this. And that's why Maharishi Valmiki spent two and a half chapters just on that part. And he ends this very well. See, the two things that you think of this positively. Otherwise, it's very easy to also say from a story point of view, the Vanaras became hot-headed, they became proud, they didn't know what they were doing, and so they got carried away and all of that. No. Why am I not taking that route? Why am I not giving it a negative spin? It's because Hanuman blessed this. It's because Angada blessed this. It's because Jambavan blessed. The Vanaras took permission from them. They said it's okay. And that put the whole thing in a different perspective. This is how Maharishi Valmiki presents. That's number one. Number two is here. Sugriva, who listens to it, does not get angry. Sugriva, who listens to it, does not get angry. He is in fact happy because behind these actions he sees the spirit, he understood the spirit of the intoxication. This is what the divine looks for, the bhava. And in that, like I said, the miracles happen. Think of Mirabai. She was lost in that intoxication. Somebody gave her poison to drink. She didn't say this is poison, it'll turn into nectar. Anyway, I trust Krishna, do whatever you want, I will drink. She just said, oh, this is prasad, okay, I will take it. And it turned into nectar, right? The point is, in that intoxicated state, everything becomes divine. The law of miracles is completely 100% operational at that state. In all our lives, all of us have experienced this in some form or the other. There have been moments of tremendous experiences in the sense of deep absorption, or the mind is simply floating in that divine state where you don't want to listen to anything, not worry about sitting straight or lying down. You're just, at that moment, you're just carried away. The consciousness just drifts, right? We've all experienced it. It could have been a bhajan, it could be a book that you read and say, I just want to think about this fantastic thing I read. Or it could be a YouTube video you saw, you sit with your eyes closed and lost in that thought. That is the intoxication we are talking about. There is no rule as to how to get there. But when we find spirituality, it takes us there. And so when we got closer to Baba, this is what we experienced. And so he allowed the boys to come rushing to him. He allowed the boys to sit close to him. All of that. Whereas when you would come for darshan, devotees would sit straight in line. There are volunteers controlling them and all of that. But here there was a very different atmosphere. So that is the Dhadimukha and Sugriva that I wanted to share. Sugriva then says, Hanuman, if Hanuman is there, when Hanuman is there, I know that this is successful. The mission has been successful because Hanuman alone could have achieved success in this mission. That is the confidence of Sugriva. That is the confidence he placed in Sugriva. And so what are the qualities Sugriva sees in Hanuman? He says Hanuman has Karya Siddham. Karya Siddham means Karya, job, Siddhi, perfection or completion. Any task given to him, he will complete it. He will not stop till he completes it. So Karya Siddham is there with Hanuman. Vyavasaya is there. Vyavasaya is not farming, because in Hindi we use that now, but it comes from this because it involves strenuous effort. Strenuous effort. Whatever effort that needs to be put in, Hanuman will put in. He will not compromise, saying that I did my very best, now I don't know what to do. You see, when we do something and we say, I've tried everything, I've done my very best. You should never say that. Because when we say that, that means we are closing our doors for further efforts. All right. So we say, well, I think I did my best, but I'm sure if it's not working, there must be something else I need to do. So let me look for what else can I do. When you open that door to what else can I do, even if you're tired, even mentally or physically, depending on the nature of the work and the accomplishment of the task at hand, when you open that door, the bulb goes off. Then you say, oh, I missed that. Let me try that. And it works. Right? So Vyavasaya, Hanuman had Vyavasaya and he had hard work. He will never compromise on effort to make it work. Then comes Viryam. Viryam and Mati. Mati we already knew. Valmiki, Maharishi Valmiki quoted the Devas who said Trishti, Mati, Dakshyam, and so on. Viryam is valor, courage, fortitude, and Mati, divine intelligence. So you had Karya Siddham, Vyavasayam, Viryam, Mati, and the last one was Shrutam. Shrutam is enthusiasm, eagerness to do that. He was happy. Give a job to him, he'll look forward and enjoy doing it. This is why he would say, Hanuman completes the task. I have confidence in Hanuman because of this. So if we want to take a task and see it through its fulfillment, if we want to be successful in our tasks, let us inculcate these very qualities that Hanuman had, which made him successful in everything he undertook. He never failed in any of Ram's work. Karya Siddhi. Develop the capability to do that task. If there is a practice required, do the practice and keep working on it. Develop the skills, work towards the excellence of developing those skills so that you become more and more capable of rendering what is meant to be rendered. So that is Karya Siddham. Continuous learning, continuous training, right? Vyavasaya. And then you put strenuous effort in the manifestation of whatever it is that you want to put there. And do it with enthusiasm, Shruti. Be courageous, be bold, valor. And use common sense, divine intelligence, Mati. So this is messages for you and me. These are the messages that you and I have to take home from Sundarakand. So let us not miss these things. We can take this, we can have a chat over the dinner table with our children based on this. And say, which one of these do you think you have the most? Make it fun. They don't have to even take this. They can argue about it and that's okay. At least it's being discussed. That's the idea here. They might say, this is all outdated, I don't understand all this, and walk away. But you have sown the seed. That child will go to his room and say, I'm going to use Vidyam tomorrow, or whatever it is. So think about this, right? This could be our conversations in family get-togethers and so on. Because this is what we take from Sundarakand. And lastly, Sugriva makes this very beautiful statement, which has got me thinking, and I'm still working on that. He says, anytime there is Jambavan, Angada, and Hanuman, then know that this task will be accomplished. This is all based on Dadimukha's arrival and telling him, right? So he's responding to Dadimukha. What happens is Lakshmana sees Dadimukha coming in, and Lakshmana in the story comes and asks Sugriva, what happened? Why is Dadimukha looking so upset? Is there any danger? Because they are warriors, they have to be constantly on the alert. And so Sugriva says, no, he's come to tell us about this Vanaras. And I have a feeling that celebration that these Vanaras are doing on the outskirts of Kishkinda is because they have found Mother Sita. And so that brings a smile on Rama and Lakshmana's face. Here, the mention of Rama comes in this chapter at that moment here, towards the end. So, in that context, Sugriva tells Lakshmana about all of this. And then he also says, I know when there is Jambavan, Angada and Hanuman, then any task will be accomplished. So up till now, based on what we heard, what do we understand of Jambavan? A mighty warrior, age-old warrior, but very wise. He was the mentor of that group. They looked to him as a guru. Wisdom that comes out of experience, direct personal experience as a warrior, right? So that is Jambavan, almost like the sattvic quality, wise, with ideas that are long-lasting, far-reaching, all of that. Angada, impulsive, powerful, strong, full of courage, ready to act, nothing to stop him, a great leader. He may not be as wise as Jambavan, but he's opposite of Jambavan. Jambavan is old and wise. Angada is young and fearless, ready to act. Tell me, Jambavan, what do you want me to do? I will do like that. And Hanuman becomes a combination of both. He has the wisdom of Jambavan, and he has the strength, the grit, the energy, the enthusiasm, the power of Angada, the leadership qualities of Angada, and everything of both these together in Hanuman. And therefore, with these three together, which task will not succeed? My dear sisters, brothers, I believe all these energies lie within us. There is a Jambavan within all of us. We know it. Every time a thought comes and goes, an emotion is entertained and the emotion passes away, the Jambavan is there to tell us whether it was good or bad, right? We have a Jambavan who's guiding us, our higher mind, our conscience, and so on. And then there is an Angada within us, eager to experience life, do something. Chodo yaar, I'm tired of waiting and doing all. Let me do something. So there is an Angada that just spurs us. It's not a bad habit at all. It just pushes us. And that's good. I use a lot of Angada energy for Hanuman Yoga and Maruti Yoga. Come on, let's do it. We can do it. So you need Angada energy to push your body. When your body says, no, it's tired. Come on, let's do it. But you can't overdo it, right? And hurt yourself. So Hanuman comes to balance both these energies. So Sugriva mentioning this and Maharishi Valmiki saying it so beautifully leaves us a lot of lessons to take home. Jambavan, Angada, and Hanuman. And so let us therefore invoke this divine energy of Hanuman with our hearts filled with love and gratitude. Open your heart and lose yourself in that intoxicated name of Ram. Dive into that pool of divine intoxication. It is the most beautiful experience. And let that experience create transformation. Transformation, self-transformation, self-realization, to a small extent is our effort. To a large extent is doors opening on their own. There is no hard and fast rule as to how to do that. There are no techniques. We can learn techniques to take the horse to the water, up to the water, but you can't make the horse drink that water. Right? That is as far it goes. Then the horse begins to drink the water on its own. That is a sign of divine grace. And so don't ask me what are the techniques of it to get intoxicated, or ask anyone, or go to Google and search how to get intoxicated in God's name. There is no hard and fast rule. Your path is unique to yourself. Establish that one-on-one connection with the divine. Follow whatever rules that make sense to you, whatever path you think is necessary to follow. Follow that, but know that all of these eventually gets dropped on their own. They drop on their own. And so, with those thoughts, these divine words of Sugriva, this happy moment where all the Vanaras are completely intoxicated, thinking of Mother Sita and the joy that Rama will have. This whole chapter is coming to an end in a most joyous note. So with that, let us invoke Hanuman, sing these verses, chant these verses, and listen to the Hanuman Chalisa. I was planning to sing, but I think I'm coming down with something. So I'm trying to hold it back. I don't think I'll be able to sing. So after the chanting, we will listen to Hanuman Chalisa. Om Dhuh Purusham Shri Bajranga Rupaya Shri Samba Sadashivam Avahayami. Om Bhuvah Purusham Shri Maruti Rupaya Shri Samba Sadashivam Avahayami. Om Suvah Purusham Shri Chiranjeevi Rupaya Shri Samba Sadashivam Avahayami. Om Bhurbhuvasuvah Purusham Shri Ramaduta Hanuman Rupaya Shri Samba Sadashivam Avahayami. Om. Tato murdhna nipatitam vanaram vanararshabah drishtvaivodvigna hridayo vakyametaduvachaha uttishthotishta kasmatvam padayo patito mama अभयं ते भवेद्वीर सर्वमेवाभिधीयताम् स तु विश्वासितस्तेन सुग्रीवेण महात्मना उत्थाय समुहाप्राज्ञो वाक्यं दधिमुखोऽब्रवीत् नैवर्क्षरजसा राजन्न त्वया नापि वालिना वनं निःसृष्टपूर्वं हि भक्षितं तच्च वानरैः ऐभिः प्रदर्शिताश्चैव वानरा वनरक्षिभिः मधून्यचिन्तयित्वेमान् भक्ष्यन्ति पिबन्ति च शिष्टमत्रापविद्यन्ति भक्षयन्ति तथा परे निवार्यमाणास्ते सर्वे भृत्वो वै दर्शयन्ति इमे हि संरब्धतरास्तथा तैः सम्प्रदर्शिताः वारयन्तो वनात् तस्मात् क्रुद्धैर्वानरपुङ्गवैः ततस्तैर्बहुभिर्वीरैर्वानरैर्वानरर्षभा संरक्तनयनैः क्रोधाद्धरय प्रविचालिताः पाणिभिर्निहता केचिज्जानुभिराहताः प्रकृष्टाश्च यथा कामं देवमार्गं च दर्शिताः एवमेते हताः शूरास्त्वयि तिष्ठति भर्तरि कृत्स्नं मधुवनं चैव प्रकामं तैः प्रभक्ष्यते एवं विज्ञाप्यमानं तं सुग्रीवं वानरर्षभम् अपृच्छत्तं महाप्राज्ञो लक्ष्मणः परवीरः किमयं वानरो राजन्वनभः प्रत्युपस्थितः कं चार्थमभिनिर्दिश्य दुःखितो वाक्यमब्रवीत् एवमुक्तस्तु सुग्रीवो लक्ष्मणेन महात्मना लक्ष्मणं प्रत्युवाचेदं वाक्यं वाक्यविशारदः आर्यलक्ष्मणसम्प्राह वीरो दधिमुखः कपिः अङ्गदप्रमुखैर्वीरैर्भक्षितं मधुवानरैः विचित्य दक्षिणामाशाम् आगतैर्हरिपुङ्गवैः नैषाम् अकृत्यानाम् ईदृशः स्यादुपक्रमः आगतैश्च प्रमथितं यथा मधुवनं हितैः धर्षितं च वनं कृत्स्नम् उपयुक्तं च वानरैः वनं यदाभिपन्नास्ते साधितं कर्म वानरैः दृष्टा देवी न सन्देहो न चान्येन हनुमता न ह्यन्यः साधने हेतुकर्मणोऽस्य हनुमतः कार्यसिद्धिर्मतिश्चैव तस्मिन् वानरपुङ्गवे व्यवसायश्च वीर्यं च श्रुतं चापि प्रतिष्ठितम् जाम्बवान् यत्र नेता स्याद् अङ्गदश्च महाबलः हनुमांश्चाप्यधिष्ठाता न तस्य गतिरन्यथा अङ्गदप्रमुखैर्वीरैर्हतं मधुवनं किल वारयन्तश्च सहितास्तदा जानुभिराहताः एतदर्थमयं प्राप्तो वक्तुं मधुरवागिह नाम्नादधिमुखो नाम हरिप्रख्यातविक्रमः दृष्टा सीता महाबाहो सौमित्रे पश्य तत्त्वतः अभिगम्य तथा सर्वे पिबन्ति मधुवानराः न चाप्यदृष्ट्वा वैदेहीं विश्रुता पुरुषर्षभ वनं दत्तवरं दिव्यं दर्शयेयुर्वनौकसः ततः प्रहृष्टो धर्मात्मा लक्ष्मणः सह राघवः श्रुत्वा कर्णसुखां वाणीं सुग्रीववदनाच्युताम् प्राहृष्यत भृशं रामो लक्ष्मणश्च महाबलः श्रुत्वा दधिमुखस्येदं सुग्रीवः सम्प्रहृष्य च वनपालं पुनर्वाक्यं सुग्रीव प्रत्यभाषत प्रीतोऽस्मि सोऽहं यद्भुक्तं वनं तैकृतकर्मभिः मर्षितं मर्षणीयं च चेष्टितं कृतकर्मणाम् इच्छामि शीघ्रं हनुमत्प्रधानान् शाखामृगांस्तान् मृगराजदर्पान् द्रष्टुं कृतार्थान् सह राघवाभ्यां श्रोतुं च सीताधिगमे प्रयत्नम् प्रीतस्मिताक्षौ सम्प्रहृष्टौ कुमारौ दृष्ट्वा सिद्धार्थौ वानराणां च राजा अंगैः संहृष्टैः कर्मसिद्धिं विदित्वा बाह्वोरासन्नां सोतिमात्रं ननन्द इत्यार्षे श्रीमद् रामायणे वाल्मीकीय आदिकाव्ये सुन्दरकाण्डे 63तमः सर्गः।
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी बरनो रघुबर बिमल जसु जोदायक फल चारि बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरा पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहे हरहु कलेश विकार। राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 राम। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन वरण विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन
विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज संवारे। लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुबीर हर्षि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई। सहस बदन तुम्हरो जस गावे, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाँ ते, कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाँ ते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा, राम मिलाए राजपद दीन्हा। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु, लियो ताहि मधुर फल जानू। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माही, जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिन पैसारे। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज संहारो आपे, तीनों लोक हाँकते कापे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। नासै रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुबरपुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो शत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूटहि बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होए सिद्धिसा की गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय महाडेरा। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। पवन तनय संकट हरण, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, जय श्री राम।
समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु, समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु, समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। Om. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. जय बोलो पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। सतगुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। नमः पार्वती पतये, हर हर महादेव। ओम शांति शांति शांति।